Welcome to another segment of Veseys gardening videos. Today we're going to talk about microgreens. Here it is, January 21st, and it's a cold winter's day, minus 25 with a wind chill, and we're still able to grow some tasty greens. As you can see here, we have some microgreens that are growing, and I'm going to show you how to grow these microgreens today. Microgreens are tiny little edible greens that you harvest at a very early stage. You'll harvest them at the first leaf stage, and I'll show you after a little bit when we're ready to pick them on what stage that you would harvest them at. So first I'm going to talk to you a little bit about growing your microgreens and what type of a tray you should use. This type of a tray is ideal as it has some holes in the bottom which will allow for drainage, proper drainage for your microgreens, as it's very important to be sure that there's enough airflow and that you don't have any sitting water. Microgreens are very easy to grow, as I mentioned. They're extremely nutritional in their value, and you'll actually be amazed at how many upscale restaurants have been using these microgreens in their cuisine for a lot of years. In growing microgreens, you do need a certain type of soil, which is ideal for seed starting. We do have a product here that's a growing mix, and it's ideal for using when you're starting any seedlings. Before you begin, you're going to want to make sure that your soil is nice and moist. Not too wet though, because you don't want your seeds to stick too much to the soil. So what you're going to do is you're going to add some water in a generous amount, and then make sure that it just barely sticks together, just like that. So you're going to take a scoop and just put a little bit of soil in the bottom and make sure that it's even all the way across. You can buy any type of seeds. You can buy a Veseys micro mix that we sell here. We also sell a lot of other types of seed that you can use for growing microgreens, such as cabbage and broccoli and Chinese vegetables like tatsoi and kale. Anything like that you can add to your cuisine and give it a little spicy flavor from time to time. So when you're growing your microgreens, you're going to want to be fairly generous with your seed and make sure that it's sprinkled evenly all the way across. Then that way, when your microgreens start to grow, they kind of support each other so that you don't have any worry about them falling over, or it just makes a nice carpet so that when you go to cut them, you get a good mix all the way through. So you're going to just kind of pat the microgreen seed just down a little bit, very lightly, and then what you're going to do after that is you're going to take a little bit of soil and just sprinkle it over the top of the seed, just like I'm doing here. About probably no more than 1/8 of an inch, the very most, because you want them to be able to emerge fairly easy. Some of the seeds are pretty tiny, so. And then once again, you're going to just kind of firm them down lightly. And now they're all set and ready to grow. Once you get the soil on, it's always a good idea to either take a fine mist bottle, or you can use a watering can that has a very, very tiny light spray. If you use a big watering can, it will eventually start to knock the very tender stems over. So it's ideal to use a bottle like this, or even a small watering can with a light mister. So if you're going to be using a mist bottle, you'll probably have to check on it maybe every 12 hours just to make sure that the soil doesn't dry out too much. What you can do after you spray the water on. You can take a clear dome tray, but you don't have to, just to build up a little bit of humidity in the tray, and it will also help keep your soil moist so that you don't have to spray as much. And then once your seedlings start to sprout, make sure that you take the tray off the top, because you don't want to have your seedlings get too hot. I'm going to show you a little bit of how we harvest our microgreens. These microgreens here are not quite ready to be harvested yet, but they're getting very close. So when you look at your microgreens, you're going to see the first set of leaves that are called the cotyledons. And that's these little tiny baby leaves that are here. So you don't harvest them at that stage, but when you do see a true leaf, like this one here, probably about a set of true leaves, just one set of true leaves to the start of a second set, they'll be ready. This has been growing here for only 10 days, so the microgreens do not take very long to grow. Maybe within 2 weeks you'll be able to harvest them. And all that you do in harvesting is you take a pair of preferably sharp scissors so that it's easier to make the cut, and you just cut them kind of down at soil level like that, and you put them either, like I mentioned, either in a bowl to make a salad of just microgreen salad, or you can even just top off your sandwich with them, or you can just throw them on top of any ordinary salad, and it will give you that extra spicy flavor that you've never had before, because the microgreens just add that little zest that you wouldn't even need to use any type of dressing. So that's another healthy reason to use microgreens. The stand here that I have is ideal for growing microgreens. All you have to do is you just pop your tray in like that, and like I mentioned earlier, make sure that you have a tray underneath that will catch any water, and you can lower the lights down fairly easy. I'll show you how to do that. It's ideal to have your lights down fairly low when you're first starting, because if you have your lights up too high, it will encourage your microgreens to grow tall and spindly, and that will actually make it easier for them to dampen off, like that fungal infection that I mentioned earlier. So just be sure that they're maybe, once they start growing, make sure that they're at least about an inch higher than the tray, so that the seedlings don't touch the lights. For further information on growing microgreens or anything else that we can assist you on, please visit us at www.veseys.com. Thanks for joining me today, and happy gardening indoors.